Well, good morning, friends, and welcome to my channel. I am Crystal, and this is Homemaking on the Homestead. And today in Coffee with Crystal, I just have a few things to chat with you about, some books I'm currently reading, and zucchini. Is anybody else being overrun by zucchini? I've got some ideas for you on that one too, and more, of course. All right, so grab your cup of coffee and let's have a chat. Before I get too far into this video, I just want to say thank you guys. Last week in Coffee with Crystal, I had a dress that had been given to me, and I'm trying to figure out how to repurpose it. It's not something that I typically do or have a lot of experience doing it, and man, you guys gave me some great ideas and great encouragement. You know, even if you didn't sew and didn't know exactly what to do, you still all were very encouraging. So I appreciate that. Thank you. And I'm still working on my ideas. Now that I've got more ideas, I'm just kind of letting the creative juices flow. Like I said last week, I probably won't get to it until fall time because that's kind of when I like to pull out my sewing machine and start doing a little bit more sewing during the fall weather. Right now, I seem to be outside a lot because we are enjoying beautiful weather here. It's not too hot and it's not too cool. It has just actually been so pleasant, almost perfect. So being outside, swimming in my pond, enjoying time with my grandkids has been a lot of fun. So that's what's occupying my time now, and when that kind of season comes to an end, then it'll be time to pull out the sewing machine again. I think I'm kind of in shock that it's August already. Anybody else out there like that? It's like, wow, where is this summer going? It just seems to be kind of flying on by. We've had projects going on. I've been helping out one of my kids and helping my daughter with some things here. And so it just seems like my days have been very full. My husband has been working on painting the house. It was one of those projects he started several years ago and then never was able to find the time to get back to it. And now this year it was like, okay, that was his priority, is to see if he can make more progress on painting the house. Not sure if he'll get it finished by the time summer's done or if he'll get tired of doing it. I don't know which, but that's kind of all the busyness we have going on around here. All right, so let me know, what are you guys having for dinner tonight? My dinner is actually leftovers. I know you see my crock pot going back there, and I am cooking a pot of red beans right now today. Tomorrow I plan on making chili, so I figured, well, since I'm not doing anything else dinner-wise today, I might as well go ahead and get my beans cooked ahead of time. So that's what's going on back there. For dinner last night, okay, this is the fun part, because when you guys share what you're eating for dinner, it's so inspiring, to go through and read your comments and get ideas and that type of thing. So one of you, Aaron, commented on making a sausage and pasta dish with diced tomatoes and whatnot. So I just kind of ran with that idea last night. So that was a whole lot of fun to see her comment and go, hey, you know what? I have all of that, and that sounds easy, fast, delicious. I used Jimmy Dean sausage because I already had it cooked in the freezer. I'll cook up like the 3 pounds of it you can buy from Costco, divide that into separate packages, and then freeze it. Then whenever I want it, I just grab it. So I started by sauteing up some onions and peppers. Once they were soft, I added in my cooked sausages, or sausage, I should say, and then the diced tomatoes. In the meantime, I was cooking some angel hair pasta. When it was all done, I kind of mixed it all together, added some Italian seasoning, adjusted the salt and the garlic seasoning, and threw in some fresh Parmesan cheese that I keep in the freezer. Anyway, added that to it, mixed it all up, and it was such a delicious dinner. We really enjoyed it. But the fun part of my dinner is that I have some wonderful, generous neighbors, and they had blessed us with a bunch of yellow squash and cucumbers and green beans and things like that. So the majority of it, of course, I gave to my daughter. She took it because she's feeding a whole lot more people than I am. And so what I had to work with was just kind of a small amount that I was able to, like, okay, what am I going to do with all this? So I ended up roasting the green beans. I turned the cucumbers, I peeled those and turned those into like a cucumber salad with a little bit of sour cream and a few other ingredients. And then I had all this zucchini. So the question was, well, what do I want to do with the zucchini? Now, the yellow squash, I actually like to dice up and just stir fry that with, saute it with some onions usually or something like that, and just serve that on the side, which I may end up doing that tonight because we pretty much ate up all the green beans last night and don't have a whole lot of the cucumbers left. But anyway, so a few days ago, I think, or a week ago, whatever, Adrian, one of my wonderful viewers and commenters, sent me a recipe for a zucchini crisp that she swore tasted like a green apple crisp, and so did all the comments on it. I could swear I made this years ago, but I just couldn't quite remember. Anyway, I thought, what a fun recipe. So I ended up peeling some of that zucchini and dicing it up and following the directions. It did call for light brown sugar, and I only had dark brown sugar, so it still worked. And I have to tell you, we had it for dessert last night, and that is absolutely the truth. You would not know, if you did not say anything to anybody, you would not know that you were not eating a Granny Smith type apple crisp. It was so good. My husband just went on and on about it. So that was a win, and we still have enough for dessert tonight. So I feel like for this day, my food preps are pretty much done for me, other than maybe, like I said, sauteing up that yellow squash. So don't forget to put down in the comments what you're having for dinner, any quick recipe ideas or anything like that. So the next thing I thought I would chat about with you guys is books, and what kind of books are you reading? I'm always interested in book ideas. I am working, I have been for the last 2-3 years, working to kind of slowly build up my own personal library. As a homeschooling mother of 8 children, my whole focus, my whole life was educational books. I was always buying books for my kids for their curriculum. We were big, avid book readers. So there was always classic books I was buying. A lot of my curriculum was reading based. So I always had educational books, which is great. But you know, when my kids started to leave and the empty nest life came, I was like, where are all my, encouraging and helpful books? Of course, over the years, I would purchase a few here and there, but I really didn't have a lot, and so I really wanted to start working on more books. So that's what I've been doing, just kind of slowly building up my library. So I buy books mostly from thrift books. Occasionally, I'll buy them off of Amazon if it's something I really think has value, and I can't get it on thrift books. My daughter also started buying used books from a site called Abe Books, A-B-E, Abe Books. She's been really happy with it. A lot of them are free shipping, so, if you want to check out another resource, that might be a good idea. A lot of the way that I read my, of course, nonfiction type books is I read a little bit from this book, a little bit from this book, and then sometimes I'll set them down for quite a while, and then as I read something from another book or devotional type books. I really enjoy devotional type books, but I don't read them always from cover to cover, So I'm always on the search for different books, but yet in the meantime, I'm busy reading several at the same time. Let's see. So I have 3 books right now that some I have already shared with you. Well, one for sure I've already shared with you, and I'm still in the process of reading. I'm going to start with the one that I shared with you before, because every time I pick up this book, Money Secrets of the Amish, and I read another chapter, I'm like, oh my gosh, why didn't I finish this book before? I'm really enjoying it. The author is humorous. She was a reporter for I believe a newspaper someplace on the East Coast, and when she quit her job, she decided she wanted to write a book about the Amish. So she actually went to Amish country and started interviewing Amish people, Amish families, and asking them, what are your money saving secrets? And so I picked it up again. I just read a chapter on bulk buying. And that's the other thing I like, is that she shows how the Amish do it and then takes that into practical terms for us today. And she made a lot of good points in the bulk buying one, is because, I've always been a bulk buyer, especially when I was raising my family. I would buy wheat and grind it myself. I would buy 50-pound bags of rice and oats and, all those things so that I had big supplies. But we were using it all the time. So it wasn't like it just sat on the shelf forever. Today, if I bought a 50-pound bag of rice for my husband and I, that would go a long way. Like, we'd have it forever. And white rice can store for a long time. Brown rice, not so much. But I don't tend to buy such huge quantities anymore. So there comes a point where when you don't really need that kind of amounts of food, that it might not be as practical. Lots of good tips, lots of good ideas. So I'm going back and trying to finish this book now. So that's been good. Okay, this one I just started, and it is A Woman Who Reflects the Heart of Jesus by Elizabeth George. All right, I don't know how many of you have read any of Elizabeth George's books, but she has some really good books. A Woman After God's Own Heart was my favorite, and I did what I really recommend to a lot of you ladies. If you have any friends that are like-minded and can get together on an occasional basis, I did with a couple of ladies in my area that I was good friends with, still am, and we would get together and take a book like we did Elizabeth George's book, and we would each take turns reading it together. So every time we would meet together for coffee, we would read a chapter of the book and then discuss it together among the three of us. And it was so much fun, and it was very easy and laid back. So it wasn't like a formal Bible study. It was just us sharing from what we read and sharing what was on our heart. So I recommend that. However, okay, I'm digressing. A Woman Who Reflects the Heart of Jesus, I just started it. So she has 30 days to Christ-like character. So every day you get a reading portion that talks about a character trait that Jesus had and how we can also develop those types of character traits. And I literally just started it. I'm trying to find the first day. Today's was approachable. That was day one. And I really enjoyed where she was going with this. She talked about Jesus being approachable and the need for us to be approachable, and again, a Christ-like character trait. Tomorrow's is available. And so the book goes on with all these different character: confident, courageous, disciplined, focused, generous, gentle. It goes on and has 30 days of great character traits. So yeah, I'm really excited to keep reading this, and who knows, maybe I'll even read it in 30 days instead of a little here and a little there. This one I bought prior to Easter and then never had a chance to actually open it up and read it. I was just too busy. And it is a 50 devotional readings from C.S. Lewis, Preparing for Easter. And I think one of the reasons that I didn't really get very far with this is they're pretty heavy, I mean, he goes into a lot and gets you really thinking deep. It's excellent, but I wouldn't say it's the kind of book that you just kind of pick up and run with it, grab a chapter here and just like, oh, okay, and close it. You really got stuff to think about, scriptures to research and stuff like that. So I'm enjoying it for that aspect, but like I said, I haven't just been racing right through it. Okay, those are kind of my current books that I'm working my way through, and of course the Bible. I have a feeling as I'm kind of, yakking on here that I'm kind of getting on with how long this video is going to be. But so I just quickly wanted to go through some zucchini ideas. If you have a lot of zucchini hanging around, then you might be looking for some maybe new and fresh ideas of things to do with it. So other than the first one that I showed you already, which was the Zucchini Crisp, I just wanted to share a couple more ideas with it, and then of course whatever you guys do with it, please let me know below. Let everybody else know below so that we can all get more ideas for excess zucchini this time of year. My all-time favorite was always zucchini patties. I used to make these all the time in the summer for my kids, and they absolutely loved it, which was just shredding up zucchini and salting it, adding eggs and usually flour or something like that to kind of make them thick, and then frying those as patties. my kids would eat them with either applesauce or sour cream, and this was like a typical regular summertime lunch that I would do with them, and they loved them. So that got rid of a lot of zucchini, used up a lot of zucchini for me. And of course there's things like zucchini bread, but I did a video a while back that had was a savory and a sweet options for zucchini, and one was a savory waffle, and actually, they were both savory recipes now that I think of it. One was a waffle, a zucchini waffle, but it was, like I said, savory. And what I ended up using them for is I would make like chicken gravy, and we would have chicken gravy over the zucchini waffles. Yum. So good. And I may do that later on this week after we finish up the chili and take some of that zucchini I have left and do that again. And the other one was a zucchini pizza. So if you're interested in seeing that video, I can link it up here, and also I will link it below. And then the last one was a recipe from my blog that I posted. I don't have pictures of me walking through the process, but if you are a canner and you are interested in using up a lot of zucchini because your garden is on overload, then I have a recipe for, I called it Zucchini Pineapple, and it basically was, you can it in pint jars. It has lemon juice, so it's a water bath canning recipe, and it's a mixture of pineapple and shredded zucchini, and you can that up in jars, and it's sweet, and I would use that. You can use it in place in recipes that call for crushed pineapple, but my favorite way to use it was to take the zucchini pineapple and mix it with approximately equal parts of like barbecue sauce, and then dump that over any kind of meat in your crock pot. It was fantastic over a pork roast. It was still just as good over beef or chicken, that type of thing. And oh my gosh, that was so delicious. Every time I get to this time of year and I think about all the things that I did do with zucchini, I so miss having a garden. I can't tell you. Maybe next year, we'll see. In any case, I will leave the link to my pineapple zucchini recipe below so that you can see if it's something you want to try. And as I said, if you do anything fun with zucchini or have any great zucchini ideas, please list those in the comments too. Okay, you guys, I think as I look over my list that I wrote here for today's video, I think I covered everything that I was going to chat with you guys about. So I hope that you all have an awesome, wonderful, blessed weekend, and I appreciate you so much for being here. It is a blessing to me to know that you get value out of my videos, and I get value, and I feel blessed so much to just be able to just have the time to sit and talk with you. All right, so I will see you all in my next video. Bye-bye.